It's like you're convinced that you're stuck the way you are. Driving in your car to reach a dead end. Is that all this is? It's cool if you think that I'm wasting my time, but you've gotta stop holding me back. What's up with that?
Marcello, how are you?
Hey, how we doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Very good. Very
Your
good.
day going?
It's going very good. Let me know. Can you hear the music on your end?
I cannot hear the music.
Okay,
No.
good. Okay, it might be on the live stream. So, so I'm right now. I'm actually live streaming right now on towards LinkedIn. I'm actually gonna bring up the feed on LinkedIn as well. So, but you can hear me fine on your end? Is that right?
That's right. I'm only on my phone.
Good, 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 good. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We got it
So
is right now. I'm actually
an experiment. Okay, and
live stream. I'm in muted the audio. Oh, this is pretty neat. I'm looking at the live stream right now that we are on, and let me actually change it to. Let me change it. So right now I'm live streaming on LinkedIn, and also hopefully folks can hear us as well on LinkedIn, and also here on Clubhouse. I'm a bit off, Miss Francis. I'm sorry about that because of my we're experimenting with live streaming from Clubhouse to LinkedIn, so hopefully everything works out without any glitches.
This is fantastic. That's the way we can start growing and learning new things as we speak. The technology should be good on our end. And I'm super excited to be, live stream. Whoever is listening or watching us via LinkedIn Live, this is great. We
Yep.
are recording this conversation. And if you want to jump in on Clubhouse, if you don't have an invitation, Marcelo has invites. I have 5 invites. Let me know and I'll help you out to join our conversation.
Yeah.
Marcelo,
I
how's
see.
it going?
It's going good. I see Miss Sabra. She's on LinkedIn right now. She's actually watching us right now live. Hey, Fanny, how we doing? If you want to join us on Clubhouse, by all means, the link is in the stream. I'll put it back. I'll put it here as well. So yeah, it's going well. And actually, ironically, there was something I wanted to talk to you about because I had a meeting with a facilities managers association here local in Atlanta, Georgia yesterday. And one of the facilities manager brought up an interesting approach. He's using, I believe he said, ozone water. Are you, before I go into details on that, are you familiar with that process or that type of water?
No, I haven't. Had any interactions. I actually was looking for alternatives to make cleaner the water we consume in our household,
Mm-hmm.
and I was looking for different filters. So one of those solutions were that the uh, the ozone water, but I didn't go beyond that.
Okay, yeah. So this is interesting, and I may as I see folks chiming in right now on LinkedIn, I want to say hello to Tonette, Miss Carlin. Thank you very much for. She said she, yeah, she can hear me fine on LinkedIn, so that's great. Fanny, thank you very much for joining us. And Miss Chin, hello there. Thank you very much for joining it. And again, Miss Sabra, thank you very much for being there. And I'll put a link here. This is the link if you guys want to join a conversation on Clubhouse. That's the link there. And let me also get you the link if you guys want to join us on the live stream here on LinkedIn. So this is, and this link that I'm posting on LinkedIn, that allows you to be on the panel here right next to me on the screen. So yeah, so ozone water.
Working.
Repeat that again. Oh, Miss Sabra, what's going on?
Hi, everybody. So I was having some internet connection problems, so I had to reset my phone. And then, of course, I said hello on LinkedIn too. So, yeah, it's been kind of crazy in Colorado. We have had a ton of frozen pipes break, a lot of damage going on here. So sorry for being so late.
Oh no, no, that's fine. I'm glad that you're safe. That's the most important factor, obviously, no question about that. But thank you very much for supporting us there on LinkedIn as well. And before I go into a tangent about ozone water, you was able to hear me just fine there as well, correct? On LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, you sounded great.
Okay, good, good, good. All right, wonderful. Thank you. So yeah, so ozone water, and I'm gonna paraphrase what the gentleman mentioned to me was is a type of water, just regular water, which goes through a series of electrical shocks or pulses for that matter. And he uses that water to clean the facility, to clean fruit, food for that matter. And he said that when you use that same water, it actually the food lasts longer. Uses that same water for his ice maker. He mentioned that he wouldn't want to drink it, but when he said ice maker, I was curious to know. Okay, well, if you put you put it in the ice, obviously eventually you're gonna be drinking it. But I didn't really get a chance to go into that. So I want to qualify. This is new to me as well when it pertains to um, what we're talking about ozone water. I'm gonna look into this, but I wanted to see if anyone is out here on Clubhouse and also even on LinkedIn, if you're familiar with that process of ozone water. I'd love to hear from you. So go right ahead. I'll heed the floor to Ms. Francis or Ms. Sabra for you guys' inputs.
Yes, Sabra, I commented before that the only technology I knew about ozone water and obviously it was sanitizing, making it cleaner for our purposes for an industrial household was only on my side, bringing the household water cleaner and safer to consume. But I had never heard about that technology, so it intrigued me. When you asked for it, because there is always this stigma around tap water. I live in Canada. Our tap water is safe for drinking, and also having the opportunity to use it in different for different purposes is great. But we know the tap water also contains chlorine and also contains uh, the what is the this fluoride that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
actually makes it kills bacteria, it kills all the potential the potential organisms that can actually harm people. And because of that, we also have research bringing different studies for over the years and showing the impact that these chemicals have in our tap water. Do you know anything about that, Sarah? Like always a conversation that I love having because I'm conscious about it, and these effects generally aren't shown over 1 decade, but over decades you have health effects. Paying attention.
Well, I want to let you guys know right now. I'm looking at the app and looks like there's and this happens occasionally. Sometimes there's some poor connection, so I'm looking at that right now. So just bear with me. I'll probably show it to you right here. Let me see if I can actually bring it up. I'm looking at the feed a little bit old, but yeah, here it is. Here it is.
Other frozen pipes that thawed, and so we are literally in all this kind of water that's can be hazardous, right? And especially like sewer water and everything when we're cleaning out homes, people don't realize what's in that water that they're tromping into. And so on the ozone and the monitors and the systems that are in, I don't know if a lot of people actually do those and put those in their homes. Do they?
I don't know, Marcello, whether you have other studies backing up behind, the ozone water, and that we can actually do, a live research right now. I'm, on my computer, but I would really love to know. And if somebody in the audience out there on LinkedIn or whoever joins us here on the room on Clubhouse has a different perspective and knowledge about it, I would love the opportunity to talk to you. As I've seen, there's a proven study that these chemicals in our water has a health effect not over a decade, but as I said, over a lifespan. So knowing that it can have certain effects on people and increases the chances of having Alzheimer's disease, like brain and mental issues, that gives me an additional level of awareness and being conscious about this. So tell us more about what why you wanted to bring this ozone water, and because it showed that it didn't have this effect on our fruits, on the areas that were actually sanitized with it.
Yeah, the reason why I wanted to bring it up because I was to be honest, I'm sorry that was the first time I heard of that process of lack of a better word, electrifying water and making the water almost obviously purifying the water, but on top of that, it creates it charges the water, and that's in essence that it actually does a much better job when it pertains to cleaning. One of the examples that he mentioned, mind you, again, I said this gentleman is a facilities manager, so he's managing a facility. In this case, he's a facilities manager for a Baptist church here in Marietta, Georgia. So he mentioned, the example was, let's say, for instance, if he actually electrifies or treats the water, he uses that water for cleaning as well, like the facility. So given that it has those properties in the water, that allows for dust and germs to literally just gather or to be attracted to the water faster. And I'm that's a bit of a stretch when I'm a stretcher. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know. Like I had a sign of poor signal, but probably we spoke with it, on top of each other.
No, go ahead. And I actually had that early as well. And where did you hear me last? Let me know.
It was really cut off. It doesn't matter. This is the goodness of LinkedIn.
Yeah, this is actually when Sabra was talking earlier, it was breaking in and out, but I got the gist of what she was talking about. But I can understand what you're the challenges of the Clubhouse, how it works. But but I came across the ozone because the gentleman mentioned the facilities manager. They was utilizing that water to clean the facility, and he felt that it was actually doing a much better job with sanitizing the facility and being more efficient when it pertains to that. One other thing he mentioned was when you treat the water, this charges stays in the water for several days. So it was interesting. So you could charge the water and have it at your disposal whenever you need to do any work, or use it for, let's say, cleaning vegetables or food for that matter.
Do they have any other information about the contaminants levels in the water after washing, after cleaning? Because this is also something that concerns industries, right? Every plant has a green or an environmental plan, and of course, depending on each regulation, each city, you have different regulations that apply to you by law or regional. So you have even maximum limit that you need, that you cannot go over.
Yeah, guys, and right now we're having a poor connection on Clubhouse, so sorry about that and for the delay on your guys' end.
It's pretty interesting article that kind of talks about some of the benefits of drinking ozone water, and then some of the risks and some of the protocols. And it's actually an interesting, like they have small devices that they show you that you could utilize, and then they have some bigger machines that you can it looks like you can purchase from this company. But this is a great topic because, I'm not educated in any of this, other than we just extract, gross, disgusting water that's been from, disasters and emergency losses and pipes, right? So this is a great topic.
Yeah, one of the things that when I did look up the topic, they essentially the ozone, what it does, it removes bacteria, viruses, iron, magnesium, and some other impurities that is in the water. So, and one of the things that I'm actually looking at the article that I referenced before the show was that ozone was first used in water treatments in late 1800s, and the ozone is more widely used in Europe and Asia than here in the United States. So that's why
Have multiple ozone like grams per hour, and you also need to see, whether this has been proved that it affects your.
Sorry about that. It looked like there was just the bit of a delay, so I'll bring it back on now.
Yes, we have some audio delays. I don't know whether it is the internet connection on your side. I hear you, clear. I heard Sabra, but it's so fascinating. It's either the ultraviolet light. We don't need additional chemicals, which is what is drawing me right now to this technique of water purification. It's great. I find it. I don't know whether this is so popular. I know that we've had small ozone water filters in the offices, in a few offices that I've worked with, but not at a scale, at a big scale like a plant.
Yeah, this is as I said, this is something that when after our meeting I did some light research on it. That's why I want to stress that, some light research, and I wanted to get you guys and you ladies, insights on that topic. Mind you, if it was one, we could transition to a different topic if you like, because I'm not familiar with it. Not sure what else I could add to the ozone water. I wanted to bring it up because that really piqued my interest when the facilities manager brought that up. Needless to say, this is something that I'm interested in, and on future discussions, I do look forward to contribute more on that topic. So I want to see what else would you guys like to talk about in case.
Well, sorry, Sabra. Go ahead.
No, so kind of back up a little bit. So when your facility manager brought this up to you, what are they doing, or what brought this on to his attention? Well,
he mentioned that he was utilizing this process prior to COVID, and this is something that a lot of since COVID, facilities managers or even different organizations have been exploring and implementing to reduce the probability of exposure to COVID-19. So, mind you, not necessarily, I'm not just suggesting that there's going to be any COVID-19 in water prior to, treating it with ozone. But he he suggested that utilizing this process, the water, he could use that when he's doing cleaning around the facility, like hard surfaces, the floors, and using that same water when he's mixing it with different chemicals that he's using throughout the facility to ensure that the place is safe.
That's very interesting. So yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I believe you guys saw the hyperlink I added to our conversation last week about by the way, your Valentine's Day advice on recycling items.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, and I've been a follower, a fan of this lady who created this brand called Trash is for Toasters, and it's a way for her. She decided to change her whole living to be a waste-free living as much as possible, and compose and eliminate plastic from her daily use, from her activities. And she founded this company called Package Free. Do you remember the hyperlink I showed you, or I sent in those comments? So this Package Free is a company who is a store, an online store, where they just sell sustainable, compostable, and recyclable products for our daily use. It is absolutely fantastic. And knowing that Sabra has this gift box business, the company, your service, I find that all the products they showcase in their site are, one, either wood, either fiber materials that can decay and be recyclable, but also kits that are zero waste. So it's so interesting that finding new products for our daily lives can actually make a difference. I don't know if you guys have. I don't use it, but I know that there are bamboo toothbrushes that can you actually toss it in your compostable bin. But I don't know you guys. I find this great. Is what we've been talking over these past weeks is another level of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not. I actually managed to pull up the website that you mentioned. I have it on the screen now, and I'm not actually. I'm quite pleased to see these different options or ideas that you can utilize or implement, especially like for last minute gifts. I'm looking at on the homepage. Last minute zero waste gift ideas, zero waste gift wrapping, and then also another one, zero waste holiday gift guide. I mean, and the best part about this is that a lot of this stuff you have already, chances are, in your home, either in your closet or, even about to throw away. And so rather than throwing away, you could actually repurpose it. I'm looking at this right now. I'm about to click on one of the links.
And there's some amazing stuff on there. And I sent a little note because I'm part of this subscription box group, and she actually showed us some peanuts that literally they dissolve in water. Like the packing peanuts, you put it under water and it dissolves.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I remember I think you mentioned that in a comment. Yeah. But when you mentioned that, I thought you mentioned I thought you were talking about that. This is something that your subscription, food subscription company, or the subscription that you have was going to be putting in their packaging. Was that correct?
So yeah, I'm looking in to see how much I can get, because I'm still really small, right? So it's all about what I can do to reuse products and to cost effectively, obviously. So I was doing some research to see, because some of my items, they are glass unbreakables, and I use recyclable bubble wrap and different little tissue paper and things to protect it. But the peanuts, as a 5-year-old, everybody loves packing peanuts, right? It's just fun to play in. It's like a merry-go-round type of a playground with the peanuts, but they're wasteful, right? And aren't they detrimental to the environment? Because you can't recycle those, correct?
No, not the ones that I'm aware of. They're like made out of some sort of like the same material as styrofoam, the ones that I'm familiar with.
Yeah. So when they came out with this one that literally they had a big video, and I'm trying to find that link again. So because I wanted to actually put it on with our topics and actually promote it. So I'm trying to find the video for it. And it was really interesting because they literally took a handful of those packing peanuts and put under cold hot water, and they just like dissolved. I mean, there was nothing left of that.
Wow.
That's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of one of those movies, right? When he does, he makes a product that you spray on and it dissolves into nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know, I know, you see those like in those sci-fi movies. I know what you mean. Like he'll have a whole bunch of stuff, or he or she might have a whole bunch of stuff, and next thing you know, you drop a couple of water and it vanishes.
Right. Now it's actually a thing. It's not just only for the movies now. We've come so far.
Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. No, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Actually, I meant to look into that. Those type of peanuts. It might even suggested this a couple of my clients because I do know that a few of them have purchased a logistical building and they're starting to do some shipping. So that's something I will suggest for them. At least that will help reduce their carbon footprint. Now, I'm curious to know, Ms. Francis. Okay, so if the person purchases these type of peanuts, um, I mean, how would you dispose of that? Would you, I'm not sure if as a company, how practical it will be to actually put them, just to drop water and, having a big old container and have them dissolve. Do you have any insight on that? Because it sounds like a great idea, but I'm not sure how in practice, how it will work.
Well, I find it, as I said, you change your habits, your disposing habits, and whether you're consuming it on the spot or not, then it's a matter of decisions. So Lauren Singer is the founder of Trashes for Toasters and Zero Waste package. This shop that is waste free and package free, and she has even created deals with other people in Canada and in the United States to find packaging that can actually decay and decompose. So it's a matter of you deciding to reduce as much as possible your one, chain in habits and mindset, and second, your consuming also habits will be affected, but in a good way for that. Wow. I know that we live in a society that consumes so many products, that consumes food, but also that wastes a lot of food. And it should be something that we could address, just like other countries. I know this initiative in France about people or businesses who are in the food industry, that they actually redirect what isn't consumed to other people who can actually consume it, like needed or the needed people that are in have less resources. So why wouldn't us do the same?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's safe to say that it has a lot to do with different laws, and that's my limited knowledge about how things get approved. And what, for the most part, I think that it has a lot to do with different administrations. Without getting into politics, historically, different kind of organizations have always been more pro environment versus others. So depending on your political view, that would determine your opinion. Regardless of that, I think that a lot of the things, reason why a lot of these organizations either are as aggressive as recycling, because that might be something that they personally have a passion, or their clients and customers are requiring them to do that, or they just are in their industry, it is required for them to do that. So then they actually have to implement it. One thing that stands out to me is, and most recently is the implementation of paper straws in most of the United States, and more specifically, more in Florida or even the coastal area. Whenever my wife and I have visited these areas, I've always reminded, I said, make sure we bring our straws because, those disposable straws are going to be,
To tell us like the last part of your conversation.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. One thing I mentioned was the how things have changed globally, or even more specifically nationally, of the implementations of paper straws. Reason why I bring that up is that whenever my wife and I have visited coastal areas, like in the coast of Georgia, like in Savannah, Tybee Island, or even certain parts of Florida, I'm quickly reminded of these initiatives that are in place. And prior to visiting these areas, I make an effort to pack our sustainable straws just to make sure that we have it, you know, rather than having the paper straws. As much as I do enjoy the paper straws, and I'll say that in tongue in cheek, either the experience is not as good as it is with a regular straw or, you know, a steel straw.
So speaking of the straws, which do you prefer? Because they do make, like Pampered Chef comes out with their wooden straw, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you do have the stainless steel straws, and then there's some travel straws. And I have a couple of girlfriends that like some of the big, heftier, reusable. I don't know. They're a harder plastic, so I don't know exactly what the materials are, but they are reusable. Which do you find is better?
Ms. Francis, go right ahead.
I really find, I think it all depends on how your alternative or your preferred material is, because stainless steel can be easily, melted again and included in other industry services. But wood, I don't know whether it will, over time, it will get so much soaked and it won't be able to be used again, and then you have to dispose it, recycle it, or find a better way. But I find it is a matter of reference.
Well, I wanted to mention right now, I have Brian on LinkedIn. As I mentioned, the straw, this is his comment right now. He says, paper straws? I didn't even know such stuff exist. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What part of, so where is he at? Because there is, I mean, even in Colorado, there are several restaurants now that's all you can get is if you require a straw or ask for a straw, they're only
Indeed. Same here. There are a few restaurants that only use paper straws too.
Yeah, the gentleman, he's out of Nairobi, Kenya. I mean, when he said that, it just literally stopped me, and I had to do a double take to his comment, because I just felt that paper straws have either may not be as common, meaning implemented in most globally, but the knowledge of them being existed, I just felt that people just knew of them, So I'm actually surprised to hear that.
What about the beeswax wrap, the food wrap? You know how much food like plastic wrap I use every week? And sometimes it's even embarrassing, because it's been ingrained since I've been a child using plastic wrap. But now I see these different alternatives like beeswax. Like, come on, it's the technology has advanced so much. And overall, even to the ocean, right?
Yeah, you guys just came back, so I just want to let you know I just heard right. I didn't hear what you might have said earlier. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, okay. So my point is that not only with the food straw, the paper straws, but also the fact that there is a beeswax food wrap, and then I use plastic wrap more than I actually want to admit that I am. But a year, beeswax food wrap lasts a year to a year and a half, and you can reuse it, wash it, clean it, and reuse it again. So that will eliminate I don't know how much plastic, but I know that at least once a month, I go through and I try to use the least possible. And it still is ingrained in my consuming habits of every day, because I cover my food, I cover plastic containers, glass containers, or even simple pieces or remain like leftovers, and then after all, I cannot reuse it again. I toss it. So having this option is just fantastic. I don't know whether you guys know about this, but it's a material that is produced here in Canada, I believe.
Yeah, I this is my first time hearing about the beeswax covering. I'm not familiar with that. I will definitely look into that. I know my wife is she's a great cook. I will see if I can slip it into the cupboard and see if she starts using that instead of the plastic wrap, because ironically, given that you bring this up, is a perfect timing. Just 2 days ago, she mentioned, "Hey, when you go to Costco, pick me up some plastic wrap. We're running out." So I'll see if I get some of that beeswax cover and see if how she feels about that.
Yeah, and it's as I said, it can take up to a year or a year and a half that you can reuse it over and again, and it's safe for food. It's and it's a perfect substitute for
Mhm.
cling wrap, saran wrap. That it's, as I said, ingrained in our own culture. I've seen plastic wrap since I have use of since I have memory even. So finding those clean green substitutes for our everyday consumption or our everyday life, I just find it's fascinating. And I actually finally found you on LinkedIn. I'm looking at you on LinkedIn Live and seeing that also the stream is going fantastic, and they would have even captions.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. But before I addressed some of the comments on LinkedIn, Sabra, did you have something to add before I address the comments?
No, go ahead and address the comments. It's just very interesting to see how, if you actually do a analysis or you're doing your budgets, right, for your household, because plastic wrap is what, a couple of bucks here and there, right? But when you add it up as a year and you're looking at $18 versus 70, that's when people really need to start looking not just as a cost effective, because I don't think people understand the cost, because they look at that and go, oh my gosh, it's $18 one time. But if they look over it at a year, how much they're actually saving, and it's good for the environment. So it's a win-win, right?
Yeah, I agree. Mind you, I cannot remember the last time I actually address some of my clients when it pertains to their expenses as monthly expenses. I generally always, when we sit down and we talk about implementing different solutions or making changes or even talking about existing solutions that I've helped them implement, we always talk about it in an annual scale. So I would agree with that. Yeah, that's the only way to go about that. Um, one of the comments I have here, we have Fanny. She's out of Florida, and she said, just like what she echoed what I mentioned earlier about that the plastic straws are quite common in Florida, and I feel that these are most I've seen them or heard about them mostly in coastal areas. It may have a lot to do with what those specific leaderships have, or maybe some of the actual residents in those areas have, I guess, flex on those politicians in that area and require them to pass these laws. And I see them more common in Florida, Tybee Island, as I mentioned earlier, Savannah, Hilton Head. This is geographic area in the Southeast. So those are the areas that I've visited mostly, and I've seen those paper straws all literally restaurants everywhere. So you can't find anything else but that. Yolanda saying that there's a lot of packaging that are not recyclable. I agree, and that's the key thing when it pertains to packaging. Even the bags that you accept, and that's the operative word, accept, when you go shopping, are not recyclable. and the reason why I say that is that, let's say for instance, the plastic bags that you accept, because you can bring your own bags. Those, if it fails the poke test, and that's exactly what I mean. You literally take the bag and you push your finger in it. If the bag busts or your finger goes through that bag is not good enough to recycle. So that's my tip to you guys today. That if your plastics or flexible plastics do not pass the poke test, then that means that type of plastic is not recyclable. So then that would be my recommendation. My recommendation will be to toss that type of plastic.
Or remove or eliminate the use of it, like cling wrap, plastic
Mhm.
wrap, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly what we're talking about right now. Brian said from Nairobi. He said he's from Nairobi, Kenya. He says he feels like that he's in a cave now, and then he laughs. Now, the other thing that Yolanda touched on is that not even restaurants offer paper straws. Some still offer plastic straws, especially fast food restaurants. Interesting. And now, Yolanda, let me know what part of the country have you seen this? I mean, you let me know where you're from, and also if you've traveled, where have you seen these plastic straws still circulating? And then Fanny echoes paper straws. Yay! She's basically giving her thumbs up in approval for paper straws. Now, before we go back and bring you ladies back on, share your input. People that are watching this and also hearing it on Clubhouse, let me know. Well, I guess it's just us three on Clubhouse, but on the live stream, let me know what you guys think about paper straws. If you guys like paper straws, give me a thumbs up. If you, and what's your experience with that? Please share that in the comments. Mind you, this is for the live and also for the replay. So be sure to let me know on that. Go right ahead, ladies.
So I'll chime in here about straws. So as we get older, we probably should just get away from straws altogether because they cause little creases in your upper lip.
So okay, so if it makes
Well,
creases on
that's
your
interesting.
go ahead, Miss Francis. Yeah, so what, are you gonna get a wrinkle? You're gonna get a straw wrinkle?
You do,
Wow.
because and they call it the smoker wrinkles when you do a lot of different things with your lips. Because I just went in and had some stuff done, and I was talking to her about little lines and everything, and she goes, "Well, do you use straws?" And I'm like, "Well, of course I use straws, so then I don't have that stuff going to my teeth, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Oh, get away from straws altogether." And I do use travel straws and metal straws, and I have every type of straw. But yeah, it was very interesting that she said that a lot of people that as we age, we can get little lines. So there's the beauty tip of get rid of straws altogether.
I see that
And
we have go right ahead, Miss Francis.
Yeah. I wanted to welcome Gabriel. How are you doing? We are in our weekly room talking trash, talking about our sustainable living rather than actually talking for us about people. So welcome and feel free
Okay.
to jump
No, just listening in, I was like, wow. I saw the Let's Talk Trash first, and I said, I gotta go hear what this is about.
Yeah, and mind you, Gabriel, this is near and dear to you. We're also live streaming this on YouTube and LinkedIn as well, so the folks there are listening to the conversation, so they're hearing your beautiful baritone
Oh,
voice.
awesome. Look at that. I'm on live without even being on live.
Man, welcome, man. And
Isn't
thank you
that
very much.
amazing?
So yeah, so we started talking about ozone water, which is a process that you essentially electrify water and purify the water, and that water allows you to, let's say, clean food and vegetables, and the food and vegetable last longer. In addition to that, it aids with cleaning your home or facility to reduce the presence of any viruses. So that was the first topic, and then now we transition into paper straws and different alternatives of types of straws, and Miss Francis was able to add utilizing a beeswax covering rather than using like the regular plastic shrink wrap, which is a more sustainable option. So given that said, if you have anything to add to those three, or let us know about your philosophy on recycling.
Ooh, okay.
If you
No,
recycle,
that's
how
good.
do you feel about that? Does your, is
Yeah, I did work in a. So I did work in a chemical. Well, it was actually for a quote unquote recycler. So we considered ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, and what we did was we dealt with what they call um, IBCs, or intermediate bulk containers. And what they would do is actually take these containers that would probably be filled with either food grade chemical or other type of chemicals, and we would actually either reuse them, recertify them, and then send them back out, or we would actually recycle them and grind the plastic and broke down the metal that were used for these containers. And I don't know if you're familiar with those, but they're used mostly for. Um, you've probably seen them before, but they're probably used mostly for any kind of uh, drilling, fracking, any kind of materials like that. So that's where I first learned about a lot of the um, rules, regulation, EPA regulations, OSHA regulations, in dealing with any kind of those materials. So um, I did study a little bit about environmental and safety health. I was, and there's a lot of things that what you guys are talking about that I really love. That again, the whole thing about it is finding first of all ways to, if you can, first of all, reuse materials, right, in any capacity, and then finding ways to take material, recycle material. There's so much in this world, man, that really people don't realize can be reused, recycled, and remanufactured into other things. Um, Gosh, our landfills, so many things are just filled with stuff that people actually throw away when there's actually value in it. This is where this market, actually, this whole market that I was actually working in, was a market where at one point it was just a trash market. They actually just used these things to get rid of them. It was actually somebody else who thought about, what, we could probably reuse and recycle these things. And man, it actually turned into a really big lucrative market down here in Texas. California was pretty big in it as well. Um, and so much so that a lot of the original manufacturers who were creating these things actually went and bought out a lot of these smaller uh, reconditioners, recyclers, because it was hurting their market. It was hurting their market share because they're creating these products brand new, selling them out there, and then they were finding a way to reuse them and recycle them.
Hmm.
It's kind of catch 22 if you
Look,
think about it, because go ahead.
sorry, go ahead,
It's
Gabe.
no, go ahead. I want to hear.
No, I just wanted to bring one product that my cringe people in the audience as recyclable, but it's within our daily or even weekly cleaning habits. What do you think about? Like I'm looking at it right now. The reusable ear swab. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
we don't even know how many ear swabs do we use, but it says right here that 25.5 billion single-use swabs are produced and discarded every year in the US alone. Can you imagine this? But there is one reusable ear swab that is um, made by this company, or is sold by this company, package free, but it is biodegradable. It's corn based. It has a corn based case, and the swab can be used up to 1,000 times. What do you think about it?
I, I tell you that much. That's gonna be a dirty swab. But I'm just curious to know how, what's the process of cleaning it? You know,
It has you can only wash it with soap and water, and it's clean. It's unbelievable. Like you might think like, oh, this is so probably awful. Visualizing the
Mhm.
result of using it and then reusing it again, but it is fiber created. You don't need to discard it every time, because you can, with only soap and water, it's already clean and it's ready for another use, and it has a cute little case. So I know that, taking out of the landfill 25.5 billion single use, ear swabs can also make a difference in, in our disposing habits. What about Sabra? What do you think?
I totally agree. So I want to introduce somebody that just came into the audience.
Mhm.
Mr. Rich just joined. He is a friend, and he actually has some great information about some recyclables in his industry.
Wonderful. Welcome, Rich. How are you?
Welcome, Rich.
Wow, I'm doing great. This is so exciting. This is my first conversation in Clubhouse. So thank you, Sabra, for the invite.
Welcome, welcome. Well, because you have the party popper, you must understand a little. We're on stage. You were part of the audience before we brought you in, and one thing that you need to learn, that I learned the hard way, by the way, is as soon as you jump on stage, mute your microphone, because if you're doing dishes like I did, if you're dealing with noisy kids, people in the audience will hear you and will mute you. So welcome.
Thank you.
So we were talking about recycling, and Gabe was able to share some insights on a company that he worked at. Curious to know either if you have personal knowledge.
Saber said, you know a thing or two about recycling, reusing, disposing. Tell us about your story.
Okay. So I'm currently owner and CEO of a company called Collision Right. So we are a collision repair business. I worked with Sabra for a few years in the auto glass industry, and so I ran operations at a company called Safe Flight Auto Glass, and now I have my own collision business in the central U.S. So we have 25 shops in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky, and we repair cars when they bump into each other. So, if we talk about sustainability, super important for us. There are different regulations in each of these states. I don't know if you guys would find this interesting, but in the auto glass industry, when you're replacing windshields, there are several recycling businesses now in the U.S. that will take the old glass, pulverize the glass, eliminate the laminate sheet on a windshield, because a windshield is two pieces of glass with a sheet of a laminate film. And so there's groups out there that recycle that and reuse the glass. So it's quite interesting to see companies move in that direction.
That's great. That's great. And glass. I think you, Marcello, you were talking something related about glass, and the fact that the garbage or the trash trucks cannot handle this material, because it will actually damage the structure or the functionality of them. Can you refresh us with that comment that you made in last week's room at Clubhouse?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thank you very much for asking. So the way it works is that a standard commercial truck, the way it works is that they have these front load containers, which is basically a bin. And once the truck arrives to the bin, the truck actually sticks their forks right into the sides of the container and lifts it up and empties it over its head. Now, if there's a large amount of glass in these containers, over time, the broken glass works as sand. So think about these motorized things that that you have in your home. If you had, or anything that has any joints for that matter in your home, if you toss some sand, salt, or anything in there, and you move those joints, you hear that rough sound. Imagine that at a greater scale on a truck that's operating to pick up tons of waste on a daily basis. So that's the reason why organizations or trash companies like the one that I work for have outright banned the collection of glass at a commercial and also a residential level. Mind you, it's still going to be there, but taking the steps that we don't accept it, it reduces drastically the damage to the equipment that we have, which in return has a down effect. If the truck is down, then our reliability is going to be impacted. Mind you, not on a greater scale, but however, the life of the truck is going to be diminished because we have to service it more and more and more. Luckily, companies like my own, we have planned ahead for such things. So we maintain the trucks and we are proactive to actually go into the trucks and, essentially give it a tune up occasionally just to make sure that is up and running. So for these such occasions. So when it pertains to glass, if you have a lot of glass that you need to dispose of, chances are you'll talk to your waste stream analyst or speak to me if you have any questions, and we could talk about solutions that include an open top or even a compactor for that matter.
Indeed. If anybody else has another topic, another point to make, we are within the hour of our conversation. Every week we meet from 12 to 1 p.m. and we talk trash, but in a good way. And we talk about sustainability and how our individual effort can help build a more sustainable society overall. It sounds very inspiring, very romantic, but it truly is an issue that we need to deal and we need to be conscious about every day with different consumption system. So maybe to wrap up, I know everybody is, working. I know that Gabriel is in another time zone. So I am very mindful of that. Sabra, Marcelo, Rich, and Gabriel, let's maybe bring one word that we can take today as action within our own daily lives about sustainability. What can we do today? It doesn't have to be, buy a sustainable product, but maybe it's maybe talk to your kids. Maybe in one word, how would you define this conversation?
One word: education. I think that's a big part of this, is that we don't educate people enough. There's a lot of things that people don't know about what you guys are even speaking or mentioning or talking about that actually impacts their lives. So if you're asking me, I think that's the first key in getting this conversation out anywhere where people will find it and will actually want to maybe change their lives or partake in it. It's starting there. That's my word.
That's a great word. So my word for today is awareness. Just like we were talking about the beeswax and the paper wrap and the tinfoil that we use on a constant basis, right? Just to be aware that there are other options out there, and just be aware of what we're buying and what we're actually using and where it goes. So my word today is awareness.
Awesome. And I just added your word, Gabriel, on our LinkedIn live chat so that we have, a trail for our efforts. Sabra, awareness. Myself is reduction, conscious reduction of our daily waste, especially plastic. When we consciously try to shop in ways that we can reduce the plastic, by grabbing bulk items, by bringing our own bags to store, by finding products like we discussed today, uh, in the ear swab, the food wrap made out of beeswax. Man, we can actually bring these ideas, these words into action. What about
My word would be wellness. So I'll give you a quick example. I told you that I'm running a group of body shops that I've acquired. Some of them use paints that have solvents, solvent-based paints. There's new technology with paint that is used for automobiles where it's a water-based paint, which is much friendlier for the environment. Also, the health and wellness of our staff, so they're not breathing so many fumes. So, we talk about sustainability, and I'm looking at that through the lens of, having 300 employees and their health and wellness, and migrating to environmentally friendly products such as water-based paint away from solvent-based.
and Marcello?
Mine is collaboration, and this is what we're doing right now. Essentially working together on the common cause, and mind you, with collaboration goes hand in hand with what Gabe said, education. So once we work together and we try to find and understand how to properly recycle, and that's the operative word to consider, proper recycling, then we could ultimately, one by one, could actually make a big difference. So I think that sometimes when I talk to people about recycling, either commercially and even on an individual level, it might be pushed to the side because many people might feel that they're not making a difference, but that's not the case. If we could collaborate and educate each other, we could definitely make a difference.
Absolutely, I agree, and I am so grateful for having the opportunity to get together every week and consciously tune in our sustainable minds and try to bring into action this effort, because it shouldn't be only in hands of government, in hands of other agencies. The efforts that we need, individually make. We need to do this on a daily basis. As other societies around the world have slowly done it, we can also do it individually. So, Marcello, if you have anything else to say, we are basically over our conversation. But Sabra, one final message, if you want. Gabe, Rich, I am deeply grateful. I am connected with you, Rich. I really didn't see you on LinkedIn, but I added your word on our LinkedIn conversation, LinkedIn comments in the live chat. So thank you so much for this, and we tune in every Thursday. We talk trash, but in a great way.
Yeah.
It's sustainable. Doesn't it sound funny?
I love it.
Yes, it's a sustainability conversation to make our own actions better for our own planet, for our own kids, for our grandkids.
Thank you. Yeah. So Sabra, any and Rich or Gabe, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, just thank you for everybody that's a part of our group, and thanks for doing the live on LinkedIn. It looks amazing. So thank you. As always, I'm so grateful and humbled to be a part of the dream team of trash. And who doesn't like to trash talk, right? Who doesn't like to trash talk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Glad that you guys
Excellent.
are doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
Absolute pleasure. Wishing you guys a great rest of your week. And if you look up Collision Right, I think you'll find me, Rich Harrison, on LinkedIn.
Awesome. That's
Absolute
great.
pleasure.
And with that,
Thank you.
let's finish our room.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a good one. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Why are you letting us go? Thought that you wanted me close.